Alright, what up YouTube? It's the Night Saint here with another video. And this video is just gonna be about how I really, I read myself and just how I understand and where I'm at and how I grow spiritually basically. This is one way I grow spiritually and just really understanding, let's say like this is like this is how my own personal way of doing it. I don't know if people do it this way. I don't know this the right way. Like I said, I just do it because I think this is the best way I can. And I think this is, especially early on, I believe that, like I said, people be like, oh, everybody got the answers in. Everybody got the answers to their questions within. And it's really no need for going, like, in reality, like I said, I believe, like I said, you can find answers anywhere. Like I said, no matter who you're talking to, no matter where you at, no matter what you're looking at. Like in many ways, like I think the universe has a way to tell you things when you need to hear it. Like they'll come, like I feel like sometimes people be saying certain things to me, like they be getting channeled down to somebody else and they'll tell me, and I'm like, maybe it's weird, and it's sometimes it feel like somebody reading your mind, but it's like it's so crazy. So this is how I grow basically. In many ways, let's be honest, let's say the chakra system, right? People be getting readings like on their chakras and stuff like that. And of course on an energetic level you might need one, but I think that for the most part everybody know what the 7 chakras are. Everybody know the conditions of them. Everybody know how it's unbalanced. If it was unbalanced, or if it was overly stimulated, or if it's under stimulated or something, So in many ways, like let's say whenever I feel myself just being unbalanced, like I meditate for a little bit, deep breaths in, just try to visualize just my body and just my chakras and just the condition of them, period. I would, let's take many times, just say if I was being like just frivolous with my money or something, just being very careless about how I move, oftentimes I figure out like, oh, maybe my root is unbalanced, or just it's unbalanced or overactive in a way. Same with like my sacral, or just or even let's say get to the point of like where let's say my solar plexus. I find that I got a lot of power in my solar plexus. Like I'm very much a strong person. Like I do things. I have no problem with doing things. Like I can go to, like when I was growing up, I think that was probably one of my strongest centers, is that I was strong-willed. Crazy thing is, side note, I didn't know I was I didn't know I was a leader growing up either, because I was always quiet. But in many ways, I remember being in elementary school and I started this whole little parkour group, and that's crazy to me because I forgot about that in my mind, and I never thought I was like I believe you're right. I'm at this point right now where I'm very reluctant to lead, because like I said, I'm just scared. I'm getting over a lot of fear in my heart because just like I said, you don't want to lead nobody wrong, but like I said, you have to fail to learn. So so that's what I'm doing now. But and just being able to step onto my own path. But let's say, let me go back to just the solar plexus, and I was very much like a solar plexus type of person. I was always doing things. Like I said, that's one thing I never do. Like of course, working is, you're working with somebody else, and you're working for pennies on pennies for millions of dollars. But it's just like, it's crazy that I don't care what was going on in my life, I was getting up and going to work. Like I said, whatever was happening, I was being very forceful with my body in that sense. So for most of my life, I've always been very solar plexus. Like I lived out of my solar plexus, just being very forceful with trying to make whatever I felt was what I'm supposed to do happen. So that's why if y'all look at my channel, look at all my old videos, I was doing like YouTube videos, like I was like in early 9th grade. And it was gaming videos, of course, but it's like that was what I was trying to do. Like that's what I wanted to do. That's what I feel like I was supposed to do. So in many areas where I didn't want to do something, I wasn't doing it. So like I said, I was getting to I was either going to work or I was trying to be creative or something. So in many ways, and let's say it's like in a way where I can really track, like growing up, where like my chakra started like shutting down and wasn't like active and stuff. Like growing up probably until like 5th grade, I used to draw so fucking much. It's crazy. I used to love drawing. I used to make comic books all the time. I used to love making comic books with my friends in like 5th grade. I probably stopped drawing around 7th grade. I was never good in school. Like I was very a mediocre type of student in school, so I was always very reluctant to do my best and fail. Like I said, I can get an average ass grade, and I can pass with the average ass grade, and that's all that I really could, you know, do. I mean, that's not all I could really do, but I was very much like, I don't like school. I didn't want to be here, so I was very mediocre. I know I could do it way better than I could, but it was going to involve me to put way more effort in, and it was like, I just didn't want to do it. So in that regard, I was very just lazy with it. But the things I want to do, I love to do it. I would put all my energy into it. I was staying up all night, drawing, making comic books. I used to, what was it? On some notebooks, it's like a little clear part on it. I would tear it off, and let's say for like the drawings, I would put it on top of whatever I drew, and then with a pen, I would draw over the like what I drew to like try to eliminate the pictures. It was so cool. But I used to do that all the time when I was like in 5th grade and stuff. And then when 7th grade happened, like I said, I remember drawing when there was one cold ass picture of Naruto. Teacher complimented. I'm like, damn, niggas still got it. Even now, when I go back to drawing now, I'm like, I be forgetting that I can draw, but it's just like, it's something that I just stopped doing. I don't know what happened. I think puberty happened. You know, started worrying about some girls and shit, and I just stopped drawing. And I got like, ever since then, like I said, I just been shutting down. Like my root always never been good, but my sacral it stopped working around, you know, not stopped working, but it wasn't really like creativity. My creativity like side is like it shut down, and like I just stopped being creative for real. And that's when I started to more follow people, and I guess that's probably when my, you know, my solar plexus started to shut down as well too, because I wasn't really doing what I wanted to. People were directing me to do things, I just didn't want to do it. I felt peer pressure a lot. Like I was always trying to fit in. Like I started trying to fit in so bad in like high school, but it started in middle school. Like I didn't like people. You know, people be trying to act like, oh, I ain't had no friends. Man, I really didn't have no friends. I had one friend, and everybody saying that one friend, the nigga that I was really cool with, linked to everybody else, and that I was cool with in high school. But I was never. Nobody liked me in middle school. Like I said, I know this for a fact. People, like I said, I like people. Everybody want to act like they're introverted. Everybody want to act like they're empathic. Everybody acting like, you know, nobody liked them in school. And all of these people just be lying. Like I said, they just be, you know, they was trying to be down with everybody. And eventually, that's how I became. I became trying to be down with everybody, trying to be cool and stuff. And I'm trying to, you know, be cool with everybody. And it ultimately led to just what transpired in my high school years, you know. And I was just trying to redeem myself for the years that, you know, I was lame. Like and I didn't even get cool to my senior year, and I was still fucked up then. So, you know, it's very depressing. But it's just like, yeah, like in many ways, like you can track where like your chakras shut down, and that's how I look at like my journey and just developing myself. Like I look at myself and look at my chakras and look at the conditions of how they were activated or how they was, you know, unactivated, not activated, but, you know, open, and, you know, versus when they was blocked when I was younger. I know y'all gonna be letting my ass like talking about activated and, you know, shit like that, but I meant more about open and just blocked. So yeah, and now I'm to the point where I'm really starting to understand how open my centers are now, and I'm doing more grounding work and just clearing work and just trying to stay protected, and also just trying to keep a mental, trying to stay present enough so I can notice whenever I'm starting to, let's say if I start spending money frivolously, that's when I start to understand that I'm not grounded enough, or, you know, and I'm not really present enough, or like I said, I'm not safe, or I'm just, you know, I'm just very like that's when I can tell my root is just unbalanced. When I start to be an emotional, like I said, I'm not an emotional person. I'm very sensitive of a person. Like I don't like seeing people be sensitive around me, because I was already a crybaby growing up, and I had to get that out of me, because, you know, like I said, I just felt people hated me when I was a crybaby when I was a kid. I took that to middle school. I cried in middle school. Man, I cried one good time, twice. I'm like, man, I can't do this. But no, yeah. So I was sensitive. So when I find myself just being angry or just being sad about something, I'm a very neutral person naturally. So I just don't. I have to find out like where it's coming from. I have to cut it off in a way, like cut like the energy cord off. Like I think they say like that's cutting cords, where you have to cut like a lot of. And like I said, it ain't got to be the people, but it can also just be the places, like where you got to cut like the energy signature in a way, where, like I said, where it's siphoning energy from. Like I think that a lot of people, and even just events, period. Like it's a lot of I wouldn't say I've been through a lot of traumatic stuff, but it's been times where I've had like a lot of emotional distress, and I will always like those type of memories that you always got to think about. Like those type of memories are always still like pulling energy from you, and it's kind of crazy that you have to really learn how to resolve those type of issues and just move forward. Let's say my solar plexus, when I don't feel like doing nothing, or like when I just feel like following orders and not being like, or just being lazy in a way, that's when I know like my solar plexus like it's just out of order. Whenever I just peak, my heart is like unbalanced, I either feel like the lack of love, or I feel like I would like literally like sacrifice myself for everybody else. That's why I know it's either overactive or it's underactive, you know. And I feel very not hateful, but I just feel like, you know, like nobody cared about me in a way. And you know, just also just to speak in the truth, just the throat chakra, you know, you just like some people just be running their mouth all day. You can tell it's just like overactive. Like some people just need to just shut their mouth and really think about what they're saying. That's why every now and then I have to catch myself, because I start to, you know, I start to go on rants in a way. I don't go on rants, but it's like I go on rants about things that are going on in my life, about people like in my mind, and then I don't know if anybody else got this badass habit, but they start talking about whatever they think about in their head, and people be thinking I'm crazy. People think I'm crazy, but yeah. But also just, you know, just the third eye chakra as well, you know, just lies. I think that the throat chakra and the third eye chakra just got to deal with lies. Like I think that it's hard for me to lie now. It's hard for me just to be just to lie out my mouth, because like I said, I'm getting to a point where like my conscience is like literally like somebody over my head, like literally watching me, and I don't lie like nah, because like I said, I just feel bad, I just feel guilty, and I feel like I'm not being my authentic self when I gotta lie to somebody about something, you know. And yeah, so pretty much that's how I really check in on like my chakras, and just be able to just notice like when something is wrong in a way. Of course, like I said, I'm not there yet where I'm like, oh yeah, well, you know, like on the energetic level where I can see shit. But that's just how I do it, like as a beginner's guide to just understanding like my own energy system in a way. So yeah, if y'all like the video, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see y'all later. Thank you.